What if Kobe Bryant was never traded to the Lakers on draft night? Would he still be looked at as one of the greatest players to ever play the game? Would he still get 5 rings that he got during his normal career, or would he get more, or would he get less? Well, today these questions are getting answered as Kobe is staying on the Charlotte Hornets. I mean, he's definitely going to have some really good teammates throughout the years to help him get these rings. Which brought us to the beginning of Kobe Bryant's career. Kobe came into a Hornets team that wasn't awful, but definitely wasn't ready to win a championship. And for their first season, they had a disappointing year, finishing 9th in the Eastern Conference, missing the playoffs. Kobe did have some cool moments in his first season though, including the opportunity to play against his idol Michael Jordan. The Bulls absolutely destroyed the Hornets, but Kobe did have some good buckets. And the next 2 seasons just consisted of Kobe establishing himself in the league and getting comfortable, which brought us to the 1999-2000 season, Kobe's first prime. And it wasn't until the 4th season where Kobe would start having a real effect on the team's record. He would almost break 30 points per game this season with a 27.4 points per game year, getting the Hornets the 5th seed in the East. The MVP of the league this year was Shaquille O'Neal, who averaged a 30-point double-double. Kobe's first round playoff matchup was against Allen Iverson, who was a young star in the league. They would be going back and forth all series long, trading bucket after bucket, and eventually Kobe would take the series in 6 games with a 37-point closeout performance. And the arena was ecstatic getting a playoff win with this young team. It showed a lot of promise for the future. The Hornets would go on to play the 1-seeded Heat next round, and for being a 1 seed, they didn't give Kobe and the Hornets the problems you might expect. Kobe had a great series, averaging 28.7 points per game through it, including a 36-point game to help close out the Heat in Game 6, which brought Kobe to his first ever Eastern Conference Finals against the Toronto Raptors, and the 1-2 punch of Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter would end up just being too much for the Hornets to handle. They would send the Hornets home in only 5 games. The Raptors did go on to the finals, but T-Mac and Vince would still not win a ring because they got absolutely dominated by Shaq as the Lakers took home the series 4-1. Kobe would work hard over the offseason trying to improve, knowing that he could become the next face of the league if he plays it right. The work would start to show this year as the Hornets got off to a great start at 16-4, and Kobe would lead the league in scoring through the first 20 games. And Kobe's run would continue to All-Star break as he would get his first All-Star appearance of his career. After All-Star break, the Hornets would run through the rest of their schedule, grabbing the 1 seed in the East. Baron Davis also helped a lot, giving this team a true point guard, and it was now his 2nd season in the league, so he was becoming a lot more comfortable and playing a very solid role for this team. Kobe did have a very good season, but not good enough for the MVP, as the MVP went out to Iverson in Philly, who averaged 32.8 points per game and 6 assists. The Hornets would match up against the 4th seeded Orlando Magic in this year's 2nd round of the playoffs. T-Mac did join the Magic over the offseason, and he had a really good year. T-Mac was the one who sent home Kobe last year with the Raptors, so there's already a new rivalry brewing in the East. Kobe would come out strong though in the first 2 games in Charlotte, scoring 32 and 36 to help the Hornets take a 2-0 lead. T-Mac and the Magic were able to win a game in Orlando, but after that it was all Hornets. In the Eastern Conference Finals, the Hornets would match up against the league MVP Allen Iverson. Iverson came out in Game 1 in Charlotte showing why he was the MVP, as he absolutely fried them with a 43-point game. The Hornets responded in Game 2 though thanks to a huge game by Baron Davis, dropping his first playoff career double-double, which brought the series back to Philly, where Iverson would again have another huge game scoring. And it wasn't looking good for the Hornets, being down 2-1 on the road, but Kobe finally played a good game this series, helping them tie it back up, headed back to Charlotte. And after that win, the Hornets started playing a lot better, taking the next 2 games and the series 4-2. And Kobe was now going to make his first finals appearance. And of course, it was against no other team besides the Los Angeles Lakers. And the Hornets played a alright series, but Shaq was just too dominant for the Hornets, and they had nobody that could stop him, which would win Shaq his 2nd ring with the Lakers already. And the 2001-2002 season for the Hornets would not go as expected either. Their season would end in only the 2nd round of the playoffs against the Orlando Magic. Tracy McGrady had an amazing series. He averaged over 40 points per game for the whole series. But once again, the team that made it out the Eastern Conference this season would go on to lose to the Western Conference, as the T-Wolves beat the Magic in only 5 games. Which would bring us to the end of the Charlotte Hornets and the beginning of the New Orleans Hornets. And Kobe would have his best season yet in New Orleans, putting up 33.4 points per game, 7.6 rebounds, and 6.2 assists. And that would be good enough for him to win his first MVP award. And the Hornets would make it all the way to the finals this season for a rematch against the Los Angeles Lakers. And this was going to be an interesting series because the Hornets had nobody that could contain Shaq, but the Lakers also had nobody that could stop Kobe Bryant. But through 5 games, it looked like the advantage was to the Hornets, as they were up 3-2 in the series, which would bring us to Game 6, where it'd be down to the final couple minutes of the game. But Kobe would hit some huge shots down the stretch to close out the game, and the Hornets ended up winning the game and also winning Kobe Bryant his first ring of his career. And the draft class of LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Carmelo Anthony would be coming to the league this year. With LeBron and Wade coming into the East was going to be very competitive really soon. So if Kobe wanted to win as many rings as possible for his career, he would definitely want to make these next 2 to 3 upcoming NBA Finals, because winning the East is not going to be so easy soon. And the Hornets found themselves in a Game 7 though in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons' physicality and defense has caused trouble for the Hornets all series long, and it was looking like whoever could control the pace of the game of Game 7 was going to win it. it. Well, the Hornets definitely just controlled the pace of this game. The NBA Finals was the Spurs versus the Hornets, and this series wasn't the closest or most interesting one ever, as the Hornets handled business and won the series 4-1, winning Kobe his second ring. This offseason, Kobe would work hard trying to get a three-peat, but he was going to have to do it in a different conference this time, as the Hornets got moved to the West because the Charlotte Bobcats just became an NBA team. And he'd have to do it without his point guard Baron Davis this season, as Baron joined the Golden State Warriors. But I really don't think they're going to be missing him too soon, as they're going to be drafting Chris Paul in next offseason's draft. And the Hornets would adjust pretty well to the conference change, getting the 3 seed in the West. But if they wanted to get back to the finals, it'd be a tough task. They would have to beat the 1-seeded Phoenix Suns, who had the dynamic duo of Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire. And a tough task it was. The Suns would send home the Hornets in 6 games, winning the Western Conference and ending the chance for the Hornets three-peat, which brought us to the CP3 and Kobe Bryant dynamic duo era. Over the offseason, the Hornets drafted Chris Paul, and there was definitely an adjustment period for this squad. They would lose in only the second round of the playoffs to the San Antonio Spurs, which would definitely be upsetting for the Hornets. But over the offseason, the team would work hard, and so would CP3, because the team really needed CP3 to be able to be the main point guard on the team and take on the roles the Hornets needed him to win a championship. CP3's offseason work really begun to show, because this season by All-Star break, he was averaging a double-double, putting up 16.4 points per game and 10.8 assists. Kobe and his chemistry was really starting to get good, as this team would go on and win a bunch of games this season, getting the 1 seed in the East. And through the first 2 rounds of the Western Conference playoffs, the Hornets would get through it pretty easily. But they wouldn't get their rematch against the Spurs, who knocked them out last year, as the Spurs somehow got upset by Kobe's former teammate Baron Davis and the Warriors. And Kobe and the Hornets would get by the Warriors pretty easy, as Kobe averaged 36.7 points per game throughout the series, helping advance his team onto the finals. In the finals, they would match up against the Heat, who was led by young star Dwayne Wade. And these teams would battle each other, going back and forth between games, and it would eventually come down to a Game 7 in New Orleans with very little time remaining. It's a super close game right now, 1-point game. Kobe with the ball, pulling up to make it a 3-point game. He's gonna knock it down. That's a clutch shot. A stop here, and Kobe can secure ring number 3 basically if he just gets one stop right here. Dwayne Wade has been killing them all series. They've been having a tough time stopping him. Tyson Chandler, ball. They get the steal. I don't even know what just happened there. I couldn't even really see what happened. Paul with the layup. That's going to be the dagger and the game. CP3's career is saved because of Kobe Bryant. CP3 getting a ring. Kobe getting his 3rd ring. In the 2007-2008 season, it was just like real life. Kobe would match up against the Celtics in the finals this season, as he was trying to get ring number 4. And this series was back and forth between the 2 teams, as nobody wanted to go home. Kobe had some very impressive performances over the series, dropping 46 points in game 1 and a 43-point game 6. Garnett, though, also played really good over the course of the series, averaging a 30-point double-double over the entire series. All right, we are in game 7 right now of the finals. It doesn't get really much closer than this. It's a 1-point game, 101-100. Kobe with the chance to take the lead right here. They're dribbling. They must be taking the last shot, which is a bold decision, because you miss, I mean, you're done. I don't know why you'd hold for the last shot here, because even if you miss, foul, you're not. Chris Paul, though, they're not even holding for last shot. Chris Paul, bang! What a clutch shot. CP3 might have just secured them their 4th ring, or Kobe's 4th ring. It'd be CP3's 2nd. They need to get one stop right here. Rondo with the ball down to Garnett in the post. Rondo turns it over. Tyson Chandler with the steal. And if Tyson Chandler hits this, it wraps the game up. Tyson Chandler, he's gonna miss. Celtics got no timeouts, it looks like, because they're not calling on Paul Pierce from. I thought that just went in. Next year, the finals would be the same matchup between the Celtics and the Hornets, and Kobe and CP3 were looking to complete the three-peat. But I don't know if Kobe was just cursed and couldn't complete the three-peat, but for the second time in a row trying to pull off the three-peat, the Hornets would fall to the Celtics in 6 games, leaving Kobe at 4 rings going to the 2009-2010 season. Chris Paul and Kobe would go through the West playoffs once again in the 2009-2010 season, meeting a young LeBron James and the Cavs in the finals. And while LeBron and the Cavs were able to get through the Eastern Conference and make it to the finals, including a really impressive series win over the Celtics in 7 games, LeBron's lack of inexperience and not so great supporting cast around him would be the downfall of the Cavs in the finals, and the main reason for Kobe Bryant's 5th NBA ring, which brought us to the LeBron era, the 2010-2011 season, where LeBron would join forces with Dwayne Wade in the Miami Heat. And this would also be Chris Paul's last season with the Hornets before leaving and going to the Los Angeles Clippers. And the finals this season, though, would still come down to the Hornets versus the Heat. The Hornets did put up a fight during the finals, but I don't know if it was like the tough Western Conference they had to go through to get there and they were just tired, but they just did not compete the way they could have against the Heat, and their season ended in a disappointing fashion, as the Heat ended up taking the series in only 5 games, getting LeBron James his 1st ring. And over the next 3 seasons, the Heat would win the finals twice and the Thunder would win it once. I mean, yeah, Kobe didn't have a great team around him. Once Paul left, Kobe's team was very weak. I mean, his starting point guard was named, I don't even know how to say that, Vasquez, which brought us to the final chapter, the last push for ring number 6. It was the 2014-15 season, and the Hornets were now the Pelicans. Pelicans. And Kobe finally had some help again with Anthony Davis, who's been developing into a very good big man. But Kobe was old. I mean, it was his 18th season in the league, so many wondered if he could grab ring number 6 or if his time dominating the NBA was officially over. Well, to answer your question, his time being very competitive was up, as the Pelicans would not be able to get a ring and Kobe would go on to retire after the next season.
What can I say? Mamba out.